Hi everyone, I am Core with minisgallery.com. In this video, I will be previewing the Pathfinder Battles Fists of the Ruby Phoenix pre-painted miniature set, which will be released on July 12th of 2023. There are a total of 27 miniatures in this multi-box set, which is comprised of 5 separate boxes. I would also like to thank WizKids for providing me with this set to preview. Since there are so many miniatures in this set, I'm going to spend a little less time commenting on each miniature and instead talk a little bit about the format changes which have now taken place. Back in January of 2012, WizKids debuted the first core set of Pathfinder Battles pre-painted miniatures named Heroes and Monsters. Ever since, there have typically been 2 core sets of Pathfinder Battles sets released per year, with many of these themed after Paizo's Pathfinder Role-Playing Game's adventure paths. These sets have traditionally been released in a random booster box format, where you would buy a booster box containing 4 random miniatures. The distribution of the miniatures have been based on 3 categories of rarities, being commons, uncommon, and rares. Typically, if you bought an entire case of miniatures, being 32 booster boxes, it would yield 4 of each common, 2 of each uncommon, and 1 of each rare miniatures. Now, last year, WizKids changed the product format offering of the Pathfinder Battles core sets with the introduction of the Impossible Lands core set, divided into 6 different boxed sets. The Fists of the Ruby Phoenix is also being released in a similar format, divided across 5 different boxed sets. The first notable change with this format is that it does make it easier to collect a full set of miniatures. The main drawback of this type of release is that it makes it difficult for consumers to buy multiples of the same miniature. However, at this time, most of the miniatures in these sets are typically not your garden variety type of creatures, which you would encounter in multiples. There have also been some eco-friendly packaging changes, and most notable is that there are no plastic packing pieces at all. All of the boxes are fully enclosed, and you are not able to view the actual miniatures included in the package. Many of WizKids' past and current pre-painted miniature box sets contain a clear plastic window which allows you to view the minis inside, which are usually contained within a form-fitting plastic backing. While the backs of all the packages have a digitally rendered image of what the mini will look like inside, it is a bit of a controversial change. Based on past sets, we have seen that rendered images of miniatures can vary greatly from the actual appearance of the miniature. Now, for Fists of the Ruby Phoenix, I can say that the rendered images are in most cases pretty close to the actual appearance of the miniatures. However, I would prefer to see pictures of the actual miniatures on the box rather than the rendered images. I also know that it might not be eco-friendly of me to say this, but I do like to see what I am buying, and I sort of prefer having a plastic window that allows me to view the actual product. Inside the boxes, there are some new unique ways these minis are being packaged. The Contenders and Champions box and the Danger Island Denizens box each contain 6 small or medium-sized miniatures, so the minis were each placed in a small paper envelope and then placed within a section of a cardboard divider within the box. While I certainly approve of eco-friendly packaging options, I'm not sure the mini in an envelope packaging is the best format. In every box, I had 1 or more miniature that was badly bent at the legs. I also think that such packaging really limits the options for the sculpt of the mini. For example, it would be basically impossible for the minis to be sculpted in poses where spell effects or weapons are thrust forward. For miniatures that were badly bent, I held and rotated the bent areas of the miniature under a faucet of very hot running water, and then repositioned the mini to the proper stance and then dunked the mini in a bowl of ice water for about 5 minutes. The boxes for the Martial Arts Masters and the Tournament of Trials minis contained a large amount of crinkled paper strips, which sandwiched the large and huge-sized minis between two pieces of tissue paper. The medium-sized minis were again placed in paper envelopes. Although there was quite a bit of paper dust on the large and huge-sized minis, they seemed to be protected well. I actually think this sandwiching of minis between tissue paper and packing material seems to work fairly well. I sort of wish the medium and small size minis were packaged in a similar manner instead of being placed within the paper envelopes. It was also interesting to me that the paper envelopes contained no identification markings at all, so while this might pose some unique collation and logistic challenges at the factory, I am happy to say that I did not accidentally receive any duplicate miniatures. Overall, this set has a martial arts focused theme, which is true to the adventure path for which it is named after. I feel that most sculpts in this set were quite well done, and there is good definition of facial features on most of these minis. The decent facial appearances were further augmented by details like eyes, eyebrows, and tattoos being stamped on. Paint application wise, it is my opinion that these minis all received a well above average paint job for pre-painted mini standards. There was very little evidence of sloppy brushstrokes, and many of these minis received 7 paint colors applied to them in addition to the application of a dark wash. And that is it for my narrative review of this set. Thank you for watching, and please be sure to subscribe to see more of my reviews. I will now leave you with some musical accompaniment for the remainder of the video.